gorilla stomping in a zoo. Check the vocals, animals gather right.
Hey everybody, and welcome back for another video. You are joining in on a work in progress. This is something I was just going to do off camera, but it's kind of a bigger job, turning into a bigger job, so I figured I would start up the camera and bring you guys along for at least a portion of it. And basically the day began needing to clean out the chicken coop. So I needed to be able to get my wagon underneath the clean out door. So I started doing a little bit of gravel work underneath the clean out door to make sure that would fit. Anyways, that has led into putting mesh around the base of the chicken coop, because we're eventually going to have a chicken run, and I want that mesh in place for predator prevention and to keep the chickens in the run while allowing them to go underneath the coop. So that's the portion I'm doing now. And of course, when it comes to mesh, you can do it along the surface of the ground, but you're allowing the possibility of critters to burrow underneath at that point. So you do want some of your mesh buried under the ground, and that's the portion I'm doing now, is digging a trench along the sides of the coop. We're going to have to do 3 sides, because the 4th side is going to be the actual run. So I want them to be able to get under the coop if they want to on that side. But the other 3 walls, 3 sides, need mesh along the bottom and trenches to bury a portion of that mesh. So that's what's going on here today. So with all that said, let's get into it. I'll show you what I have done up to this point. Alright, so here's the trench I've been working on. If you recall, the legs to the coop, we made them 18 inches tall, and they're tucked inside of the 2x4s, which takes off 3.5 inches. So just this portion here is 14.5 inches, and that matches up with the skids. I have 24-inch mesh, which I'll show you here. And I've been burying that down to about 20 inches. Alright, with about another 4 inches exposed. And I'm going to flare that 4 inches out at the bottom away from the coop. And that should give me enough depth that when I backfill this to that 14-inch mark or so, then I'm going to have 10 inches of mesh carrying downwards with that 4-inch flare. So half a foot down and then the 4-inch flare. And I think that'll give me the desired effect. Now the only thing is on the upper side here, I need somewhere to staple onto. Alright, I could bend the top of the mesh and kind of try to staple it up against the top, but I'd much rather actually nail on some kind of surface here to be able to attach. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I got some 2x4 stripped down half width, and I'm just going to get that put across the back here, and we'll use that to nail onto. Alright, so that's enough of a description. Let's get to the actual work itself. First of all, I'm going to get my measurement. And that's going to be about 89.5 inches, or 90. Alright, pretty much right on the 90 mark, minus 1/8 or so. So I'm going to cut off a piece of that 2x4 that I ripped, and we'll get that screwed on there, and we'll be ready to staple our mesh onto that. those of you out there using this hardware cloth or welded hardware mesh, you know as well as I do, when it's coming out of a roll, it can very much be a pain in the butt, alright? As far as getting it bent back into shape, straightening it out, it wants to curl in on itself. So the way that I've found to best do this is have a surface, you know, I got the wagon here, and basically unroll the whole roll, and every 6 inches or so give it a bend backwards against that surface. Alright, so put here, then I'm going to push down like so, advance another 6 inches or so, give it a little push, take that wire off, another 6 inches, push down in the little groove that I got made here, the distance between the cart and the roll, advance it along, another 6 inches, give it a little push, keep on going. So you're at the end of the roll. And once you're done, you're pretty much going to have a good starting position as far as this mesh goes. Alright, that's pretty much as flat as you're going to get it. Alright, so from there now we're going to carry on and put this over on the coop. So this right here is the tricky part of getting everything bent into position. So how I'm going to begin is I'll start bending up that approximate 4-inch area. Alright, so we got a flare put on the bottom. Check our measurements. So that should work out good. I may need to dig the trench a little more. But basically this top part of the mesh is going to go behind the wood there. So by tucking that mesh in behind the wood, it's going to give us that tedious part that I'm actually going to have to probably crawl under the coop in order to staple the backs of this mesh onto the other side of this board. And at the two ends, I'll just screw it on to pretty much pinch the mesh between the boards. Alright, so I'll just work at getting this mesh into place, and we'll pick up wherever that leaves off. So now that I've gotten in under, stapled back on the back side of this 2x4 that I placed, I'm going to backfill part of this and try to get some more soil under this left ski or right ski, whatever side you're looking at, but try to get some soil underneath there to support the weight of the coop again, and we'll backfill the rest. I'll probably put a few staples in the mesh along the ski just for good measure, but the soil itself should hold the mesh in place. So now that I got the first wall of mesh on, I'm just going to backfill this as well, and this side is done. Alright, so it's not as easy as it looks. You know, it's a bit of digging to it, crawling under the coop to staple it, you know, all that stuff. But it definitely feels good to be at least this far ahead at this point in time. So we'll backfill this and keep pushing forward. And now the finishing touch, some zip ties of course, to join up this seam. Next up on the list is the front side. I've already gone ahead and pre-measured side to side, which is 56 3/4. I'm going to cut my 2x4 rip there to that measurement to have something to tack onto up on the top again like I did on the side. we'll dig down the front, get the mesh put here, and hopefully be good to go. Hopefully it'll be easy compared to that other one where it's a shorter distance, but anything can happen. So here we go. Alright, so the front mesh is on. I'm going to backfill that now, and then we'll have one side left. I'm starting to run out of day though, so we may not get the third side finished. We'll see how it goes, but yeah, we'll backfill this one now. over here on this side, you can see the groundwork that I've done in order to fit a cart in under the clean-out door. And basically I just lowered everything down and squared it off. So I think this is going to make it a lot easier to put the mesh in place as well. And the only thing is I'm running out of that 1.5 by 1.5 ripstock that I did. So from that step that we made last video, I'm just going to be taking some leftover pieces and I'll just create a attachment point out of all those. It's not a big deal, it'll be secure enough. Just going to need a few extra screws to keep it all in place, obviously, instead of one separate one whole piece. So with that said, I'll get to work on this side, and once this side is finished, that will clue us up for today, and we will have pretty much had an official start to the chicken run. Alright, so let's get this started. Alright, so that is going to be the beginning of the chicken run. The meshing around the base of the coop is complete. And so is the video for today. Today's video is complete because I'm running out of daylight. Wind is picking up. I'm at a point in the project where I don't mind stopping. So I'll resume this next time. So until that next time arrives, hope you're happy, hope you're healthy, take care of each other, and peace out.